What it do, good people? Coming y'all live from Ted's TV. I told you, and I promised y'all that I was gonna get the man, the legend, the one and only, bro. Matter of fact, can't speak your name.
Sam Brown.
Sam, I'd like to thank you for coming to the blessing the program. You know what I'm saying, man? Dip appreciate it.
My guys.
You got the city on fire right now. A lot of people want to hear from you right now. A lot of people mad at you right now. But this is what we're here for. This is Ted's TV. So we can get straight into it. Where you from?
I'm from Baltimore, obviously. But I grew up all over the city. My mother grew up in South. I grew up with my mother in South Baltimore. Randall Street was our address. And then I grew up with my father in East Baltimore. We lived on Frisbee. So I had two very different Baltimore experiences, and I had, moved around a little bit with both of them at different spots. But I would say, as far as like where I'm from, where I got my game from, and who I am now, I would say it's from a little bit of everywhere, but definitely my time in the Old York area, Walter P. Carter. That's where I was raised to be the player I was, and then the coach I am.
Now listen here, y'all. Now listen here, y'all. Just a little quick side note. The Old York dudes was a whole nother. When we was coming up, yes, it wasn't safe around there. How about that? This wasn't safe.
No, sir.
You know what I mean? He wasn't safe. So what? You went to middle school?
I did. I went to Roland Park.
Roland Park?
Yeah.
I'm getting above myself. When did you first touch a basketball? Or when did you first start playing sports? And was there any other sports you played before basketball?
So I remember playing, I'll say the first sport I tried probably on a team was soccer, but I remember very early, maybe 3 years old, that like just picking up a basketball, having my, whatever toy hoop it was, I knew like from the beginning, this is the game that I love. And then I remember one time, like I said, my father stayed in East Baltimore. It was a court, it was crates, like they were playing on crates. My father had me down, we went like Barclay, and it was like in the back of the houses that are on Barclay. And you can actually see it coming up St. Paul. I forget the name of the little park that's right there, but I remember watching my father play. I might have been 6, 7 years old, maybe 8. And just seeing the atmosphere around the court, and just like I want to play ball. I just knew it. I knew I wanted to play ball. And then so I started to, and then like I said, so I had like a interesting dynamic. And
was your father? Was he into basketball like you are now?
Not at all. So he was there. My father was he was a math teacher at Essex Community College, but he was a community activist in many ways. And so we were in that neighborhood because his best friends lived around there, and we were actually at his best friend's house, and the court was right in the back of it. So his best friend lived on Barclay, and he's playing in the court in the back. He wasn't like good, but he had love for the game. He had, we watched basketball in the house. But he really, I would say, so when we were there, like my father was the only white dude in the court, right? Okay. So I was, and I'm, 7, 8 years old, I saw it, right? And I do remember things. So anyway, so
did that do something to you? No, not even, just period.
Yeah, no doubt. So I was raised, like when people talk about, like now, people talk about white privilege, and like I was raised to understand that it's real. I knew, my father told me, taught me like the roots of that when I was a very, as soon as I could hear, so it wasn't that I was like, I never ever felt scared or threatened. I look at the people around as family. These are my father's best friends. These are people that, come to my birthday parties, I go to theirs, you know what I mean? Like they're just family. But like I said, I also lived in South Baltimore with my mother, where it was a more integrated area, but still, poor, working class people. But they played a little more soccer down there. And when I played basketball down there, they looked at me like I was that guy. Like I was the guy, down in South Baltimore in terms of, playing ball. But then, it was a different level, in East Baltimore playing ball. So at least where I was in South Baltimore versus where I was in East Baltimore. So like all those dynamics, you know, and I love the game. One of the things that, you know, it did for me early in life was like I played everywhere, man. I played down the Cage in West Baltimore. I played, you know, every neighborhood in the city. I felt like, you know, when we play, we come up, we want to play everywhere. And I'm like, this is a way, you know, I get it. Like, you know, I don't look like, you know, everybody else out here on the court, but like, you know, I'm here with my homeboys. I'm here with my friends. You know, I never felt like basketball was my sanctuary. You know, I knew early in life, like this was, you know, my way of just being comfortable everywhere. You know, this is my key to the city, I want to say.
One thing about what basketball do on that court, at least on that court, you know, you just play. Yeah. It's competition.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to war with your brother. Your brother to be white. You know what I'm saying? That don't. It's a different world on and off that court.
Absolutely.
But that's neither here nor there. Keep on going.
So that was, I would say the beginning is I grew up like as the man in South Baltimore as I was playing, and I was just kind of a little bit outside, you know, playing ball. And then when I was almost say 10 years old, my father took me down to Walter P. Carter and just dropped me off. And you know, I was there.
What was who's the coaches? You remember the coaches?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course. So Coach Tommy was my first. Tommy Lovelace is his name. Okay. But he was my first coach down at Walter P. that made me feel like I could, you know, he really gave me confidence playing the game. I always thought I was okay or whatever, but I would say when I was like maybe 12 years old, he gave me a confidence. And it's fun, you know, we as a coach, you know, you got your systems you run and you got all these things you want to do. But the most important thing you can do is inspire somebody. Sure. You know, because like I do remember we ran this press called the Heat, but I just remember that it gave us confidence. And I remember playing for Coach Tommy. Coach Warner Wells ran the rec. Coach T, rest in peace, was you know, was a guy that was, he didn't coach any teams, but he worked in the rec. And then Tommy Lovelace was my coach down there. And then, you know, we had old heads down there. Dollar Bill, Will Barnes' father, was one of my old heads down there. And it was just a place where I just felt home. You know, I felt, you know, it's what the rec centers did for kids in Baltimore back then. It was a place where, like, I remember thinking, like, you know, as we got to like 13, when you saw one of our guys stop coming down the rec, you knew he was outside. You knew he was doing different stuff. So it was like, you know, being at the rec, you know, having that, like, it was, I owe Coach Tommy so much, you know, in terms of the, you know, eventually being able to having the confidence in myself, because, you know, in the city, and I'm sure we'll get to it, you know, playing high school ball, you know, because I'm not going into high school. My big time basketball is Walter P. going into high school. So, you know, going into high school ball, seeing, you know, what Tommy Polly looked like, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a whole nother level for me. Like I ain't there yet. But playing for Coach Tommy and the experience I had in Walter P, like you're saying about, like, you know, stuff got crazy. Like by the time I'm 14, we've been in gym beating people up. You know, like it was so like I just had confidence from that, you know, and just felt like, you know, being a part of Baltimore basketball, like I really was going to be able to do that. You know, be a part of the Baltimore basketball culture, the Baltimore basketball history tradition. I wasn't old enough to really think about how yet, but
you knew you wanted to be a part.
I wanted to be a part. I love the game. You know, I appreciated what the rec did for me. I saw what was going on in the city, how much of a part of the culture it was in our city from, you know, a real young age. And, you know, I wanted parts.
Now, Pete, he talked right now, we talked about how important those recs was, because they was in each neighborhood. Now, one thing about the recs, you can get out of school, you go to the rec. You're gonna get your schoolwork done. There's gonna be somebody in there that's gonna make sure you're gonna get it done, or you're not going in the gym, or you're not gonna play whatever activity it may be, all right? You're gonna get the assignment done, you're gonna eat, you're gonna play to run that steam off. The time you go home to take a shower or something, you tired, you're getting ready to go to school the next day. that's how important these recs is. But hey, but I could go on and on.
We could talk for hours about how important those places were in our city and how much we need them now for the young folks. And, you know, really, as a coach, and we can go into it later if you want. But look, I'm very competitive. You know, I wanted to win. Obviously, you know, we worked really hard to become a winning program.
Oh no, we will get there.
But we'll get there.
We will get there.
But I want to say that, you know, my eventual real goal in this is to, like I said, have an impact in Baltimore basketball that goes beyond whether we win some games or not. And I want to see kids back in places like the rec centers. I want to be a part of starting some or collaborating with some like guys from our generation that's doing. I mean, there's guys all over the place just doing great things and great work.
Yes.
And you know, getting us all together and, you know, bringing that kind of energy back for kids.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Now we out of middle school.
Yeah.
We going to Poly now. Was there any other schools you were thinking about? Or Poly, you were settled on Poly?
I would say it was either going to be Poly or Northern, and I was good enough in math. I knew I could go to Poly, and like I said, my father was a math teacher, so it was pretty much
a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, it was. And the thing is, I didn't choose a high school with basketball in mind. I didn't know who went there. I didn't know, like, you know, now so many people leaving middle school like that. That's the main, you know, reason why they're choosing a school is like, you know, how is the basketball going to be there? But like for me, I'm just going to the school that I think fit me best as far as school. And yeah, so I went to Poly.
So, all right, you get there. Now, you want to play basketball, but like you said, all this is new to you.
Yeah.
Only thing you know is walk the pitch.
Yeah.
So now, you as a freshman, as what freshmen do that play ball, we talk. Well, it's usually the ones that really can't play. You know what I'm saying? They tell you what they're going to do at practice and how they're going to make the team. And they don't know if you're going to make the team. All that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember
that. Walk us through that.
And it's cool to think about because it's an experience that, like, it humbles you early, and then when you finally do get to it, you cherish it more. So I think a lot of young people now, you know, they want to go to high school and start on varsity as a freshman. And sometimes it's not even like what's best for you.
Right.
You know, like it's good to go through it. So I barely made JV.
Right.
Like I remember tryouts. I remember some football dudes that was 10th graders that was, you know, a little strong out there playing wild, hacking. And I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna make this team. I remember thinking like halfway through the trials, like I'm not gonna make the team. And then I remember thinking like, yo, I have to make the team. Like this ain't no option not to make the team. I remember turning it up like the last week of trials, getting a little more confident. And I mean, I barely made it. I made it, obviously, but I'm not by, you know, I wasn't a star.
It don't matter.
Yeah, I made it. And
you
that's
know
the thing.
You made it.
I felt accomplished making the team on JV as a freshman. I know that might look wild to people, but now, because of the perspective now, that was a big deal to me.
Right.
So I made the team. And with Poly, with the dynamic of Poly, at that point, there was still guys getting put out of school. We had so many talented guys there. So anyway, I made a few like
we still talking about.
Chris Barnes was a Poly guy.
Yeah.
You know,
shout out to CB and Tony Murphy.
My guys, yeah. Tricky was with us. One over the wall. Tricky was a Poly person, man. Yeah, listen, so many guys would come there and the Poly kicks your ass academic. I mean, it is not. It wasn't a game. It's not a game now. And so I say that to say we had some talented guys. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. It was not. It was. They told you when you got to Poly, your freshman, you sit down in orientation, say, look to your left, look to your right. At least one of them ain't gonna be here next year. Like one of them getting put out. So make sure it ain't you. So like that was the original speech. So like in the beginning, I'm just, you know, like I said, made JV, was happy to do that. Didn't get much playing time early in the season. Late in the season, because of the academics, we had like, I think 2 guys failed off. So I started to get time, and I was a starter at the end of the last 4 or 5 games. Remember, I had like 25 in like my last game. So that gave me confidence going into the summer. Came back, no AU, played down Walter P.
Ain't nobody say anything?
I mean, I didn't even get burned on JV like that. Okay. So here's how that somebody saying something happened. So sophomore year comes, I tried out for varsity. I got cut. Wound up playing JV again, but I was the man. So I averaged like close to 30 a game on JV my sophomore year. And there was a couple sophomores that were on varsity playing my position, but they didn't get the experience of being able to go off. They're playing behind guys, right? So I'm getting experience. I'm getting confidence. I'm the guy on JV. Yeah. And we played Mervo, and Bucky was there. Yeah. And after the game, this is the first person to ever approach me about the way that I play basketball. Was Bucky Lee, first person ever. And he was like, man, you know, Bucky, like, come on down, man, check us out. I'm like, I play down Walter P. Coach. He said, man, they play like chickens with their head. Them boys don't know how they're doing. You need to come down. So I went down Oliver after my sophomore year, and it was a whole new level of an eye-opening experience. Our team, so I hadn't played any varsity basketball yet, and Reggie Bryant, Mo Hatton, Donnell Dassler,
all tough guys.
Yeah, you know, we had Dave Lund. You know, we had Lee Green from Goretti was with us. What's my guy from Spalding? Strong dude.
Batman?
Yeah, Batman from Spalding. So we had, and so we wound up going out of town. And this is when I really just like, you know, like as like I said, when I was young, I know I wanted to be a part, but as I started to become a part, like, so by the way, when I'm playing down, I told Bucky, I said, Coach, I still got to play with Walter P for Project and VMBL. He's like, no. I said, Coach, like, this is
that was like y'all thing.
Yeah, and for real, like, I understood that without Walter P, nobody in Baltimore know anything about me basketball. It's like nothing. It's not like I was, you know, I wasn't a top tier guy, but people
knew. It was like this. It was like this. People knew when you played Walter P, you was playing Walter P. Oh, with the white boy that can shoot. Yeah. And it wasn't just a shooter, he was getting bucks. Ain't nobody play with him out there. It wasn't nothing like, oh, give me the ball. This is a weak link on the team. No, it wasn't none of that.
I appreciate that. But so that was my feeling then. But then, like, you know, you want to keep testing your level. And then so now I go down Oliver and I see Mo and how Bucky looks at him, and I see why. You know what I'm saying? For good reason. So basically, I'm coming off the bench behind Mo and Reggie. Two guys that, you know, respect a whole lot, but then also I'm getting to play against them. You know how Oliver,
two Big East point guard. Two Big East guards.
Yeah. So you know, so at Oliver, it was, you know, we played a lot. You know, we you know, it wasn't unorganized. Organized. We played, you know, for hours. So I got a lot of experience matching up against Mo and Reggie. And mind you, at this point, still only had played JV. So, but I remember days, because like I said, I'm a competitor. I always have been. So, yeah, like I'm like, yo, like, these guys are good. There's no, I shouldn't start over them. None of that.
Just be modest. However,
I'm telling you, at the end of the day, there's no question. Mo and Reggie, you know, I gave him some trouble at certain days, and I was like, I went home feeling like, these guys are the best, then I can compete, and I know it.
And listen, I know that to be true on the show, because Reggie just told me some stories. He always gave you props, you know what I'm saying?
So, Reggie Brown, my guy.
Yeah, so you
look where has he? I mean, so like that's the thing. Back then, you know, we all had that competitive, but like now we appreciate each other a lot more. You know, I think we appreciate. You know, I remember seeing y'all, you and Tay out of town. We used to be playing for Christmas Addicts. I'm up in New Hampton. We playing in the tournament. Like I remember, Reggie was at St. Thomas More at the time. Poole was at what's at the prep school
of Philly. Christian.
Christmas Addicts.
No,
that was
Christian. It was Christian.
And he was killing that shit out there. So like I remember. So anyway, so back up. You know, being in Oliver, you know, it was like, all right, I had my neighborhood thing, and now, all right, we taking this show on the road. So we go out of town. With the group that I talked about, we had like 1 or 2 more. I think we only took 8 out of town with us. And we went 7-1, came to 6 in the country, and everybody used to come watch us. We had the plaid shorts, you know, and I remember thinking like, you know, Baltimore basketball, like, it's just my pride in it, and being a part of it just continued to grow. Like, you know, I always was proud to be from here, but then to be somebody that was a part of the Baltimore basketball community and understanding what the Baltimore basketball community, like how the impact could be like outside of Baltimore, like, this shit national.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody wants these problems. I remember, so I even remember a specific game we was playing. So I wasn't getting a whole lot of time, but I was playing. I was like 7th, 9th. And I remember Bucky, we're in the hotel. He told me, I think like 8th or 9th, I was like, you ain't ready, you ain't ready. He looked at me and said, I think you ready, white boy. He's like, I'm gonna start you this game. So he started me with Mo. So he started with Mo. I had like 16. I think the team's name was the Detroit Road Runners. They had like 2 6'10" dudes. I remember being out there in the flow. I remember like feeling like, yo, this is a national level game.
Yeah.
And
like,
I belong.
Yeah.
I belong here. Like I can play in this type of shit. Like this ain't, this ain't something that I should be fearful of or intimidated by. But I also remember like when I got back home, like I want to be better.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm still like a little chubby. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like taking care of nothing outside. I just love to hoop.
Right.
But I started like really understanding like I really want to be good at this game, and it's going to take a little bit more. So I go. So keep going.
Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to my. So that's going to my junior year.
No, we didn't win. We done passed the sophomore. We done passed the sophomore year. Yep. We did the summertime.
Yep.
Now it's just junior year. You have a lot of confidence coming back to college.
Yep.
Who was on your team that year, your junior year?
Junior year, Dominic Harrison, my best friend to this day, was our point guard, twin. I was the 2.
Shout out
Tony.
Yeah.
What?
I said, no, I was just giving him a shout out.
My guy. So Tony Murphy was our 3. A guy named Cedric Ward, who wound up being a walk-on in Morgan, was our 4. And Big Jermaine wound up being like an All-American at Village Julie, was our 5. But so Chris Barnes had left already. And then we had a guy, Tim Frazier, wound up being a quarterback at Hampton, was a guy we had coming off the bench. Kendrick Tillman, everybody knows him as DJ 5-Star now. He was coming off the bench, but like these ain't household Baltimore basketball names. You know what I mean?
No. But listen, this is how I feel. Right? You laced them up.
Yeah. You
jump on that baseline. You have to do some sprints. You in the family. I don't care what level.
Basketball family.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm a junior, and I'm feeling good. First 5 games. We scrimmaged Randall's down there at D-Mon. Had like 18. That was our first scrimmage. I'm like, I had 18 in my first varsity scrimmage. And then I came off the bench. I had 18 in the scrimmage. He said, Coach pulled me up, said, "You want to start from the first game of the season." So first couple games of the season.
How was that relationship with the coach?
It was funny because the guy's name was Bucky Kemet. And he's a Poly legend. If you're a Poly person, you definitely know about him. He coached football there with Augie Wild. He's a defensive coach and then was a basketball coach there about 20 years. Okay. But he also was very confident in it. He saw what I'd done on JV, and then I remember pulling me up after the scrimmage. I didn't think you were going to come back. He didn't know I played down. It's not like I talked to him about stuff like that. So after the season, it ain't like how I am with our guys. After the season, it's like, all right, coach, so I'll see you in November. Okay. So we didn't do any off-season workouts, none of that. So junior year, start off, I remember first 5 games, they split the top scorers in the Sun. I mean, I think I averaged about 18 a game, first 5, so I'm up there. And we got Northern came up the Poly, right? So Mo Smith and Dante Pennant, right? And then, dang, why I forget my man, the coach, Nardo, right? Yeah. So he's coaching. For the game, I remember saying, like, Coach, don't hurt.
Get y'all 30.
Probably like 25, and Mo probably had like 18. And so my man, and Tron Marshall also on that team. Shout out to Tron. And so they had some tough guards. And Taz, I had 0.
What?
I ain't scored.
Against Northern?
Against Northern, I had 0. And what it was for me, though, I'll never forget, it's the only game in my entire life I have not scored, ever. And I was, I remember like real, and like, Mo is my guy. I love him, see him to this day. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I hope these niggas shut me down, Mo. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is they did. Reality is they did. And it was my first time thinking like, never, like start feeling yourself. You're gonna get knocked on your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as soon as it was, for sure. Absolutely it was. But I got it back going. We played Annapolis, was pretty good a couple games later. And I had a big game out there. And then I remember so our wins there, you know, like at that point, and we talk about this now, I'm sure y'all have talked, everybody had somebody. Everybody, like every team.
Yeah.
Virgil's at Emerson, you got Ed Cook at Northwestern. Like, it wasn't no school that you're going to play and not be challenged. Right. But I remember, you know, going through my junior year, feeling pretty good about, you know, matching with Mike and Carver. Like, it was just, you know, guys everywhere.
Yeah.
So I felt good about. I think I wound up averaging like 16 by the end of the year. But I felt real good about it, and you know, I felt confident going into the summer. Now, so I think I'm going back to play with Bucky.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
That summer, since you was a shooter like that, was there any type of regimen you was doing?
So I would say like, no one worked me out my entire high school career. Until I got to prep school, I never did like a workout with somebody. But
so you was like untapped potential too.
No, everything like so I took strength shoes.
I mean, your dad was there, but I'm talking about like a basketball.
Yeah, I would embrace that so much. But I also appreciate that, like, so we do group workouts with our guys now, and they're great. I love them. But I tell them, like, when I was in school, I went and bought a pair of strength shoes, and when the bell rung, I went behind the bleachers on the football field by myself for 6 months straight, and I still couldn't jump. It didn't help me a whole lot, you know, athletically. Yeah. But in my mind, like, I knew I was working at it. So like, I didn't have like, I made 300 shots a day, but there wasn't a day I didn't go to an outside court and shoot. Okay. There wasn't a day, like, I lived basketball. And so I wish, like, eventually, like, we used to sneak in gyms and like first one to make 53s or something like that. Like, so stuff like that was there, but no, regiment, I didn't learn regiment until I got into prep school, like what that meant. I just loved the game and I did work at it. But so it's different between working hard and working hard with a plan. You know what I mean?
Now, all right, junior, I mean, going into your, we're at summertime now.
Yep.
You think you're going back down to play with Alex? Go ahead.
So I'm thinking I'm going back to play. I got the, whatever, I don't know, we ain't had no text. I don't remember, I knew that we had practice. And I missed the first 2 practices, right? So then I go down, 3rd practice, and he kicked me out the gym.
He said, man, what you doing here, man?
You missed the first 2 practices, you cut. I said, what? I'm cut. Oh, we had a great summer. I was getting my thing, you know, I was finally getting a rhythm, you know, the previous summer. And, you know, it was another thing that, like, it was a learning experience for me. I didn't even try out. I did not get a chance to try for Oliver going into my senior year. And
that was your fault, though.
It was my fault. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It really was a learning experience. Like I'm happy that Bucky did that for me. I really am. And you know what? You know, I bet if I was a little bit better, he might have been a little bit easier on me. However, he was hard on everybody, though. You know what I mean? And even though, like, guys like, you know, Mo and Damien was like his sons, you know, he still was hard on them too. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him being hard on me. I spent the summer at Walter P. Me and Tion Carroll playing one-on-one, full court, up on, you know, up top.
Shout out to Tion. Tion, looking for you, T.
Yeah, T, you need to come get with Taz, man. So, you know, worked with him, worked, you know, more neighborhood stuff, but really also I was going through so I moved in with this is really a part of, you know, the other than basketball side. So my father at that point had got multiple sclerosis and got in a wheelchair, and it was like this. It had to, like, overnight had to be in a wheelchair. So I moved in with him full time. I started taking care of him. Twin moved in with us. It was like, you know, I basically became a grown up like that. You know what I mean? Where I was taking care of things and I wasn't responsible. So, like, not going to AAU practice, going into my senior year even, I failed off. I didn't get to play. So I did not play high school basketball in Baltimore my senior year. And if there's anything in life that would say I have a regret, because you don't want to live with regrets, but I wish I'd have been able to do that. Like, I hate that I didn't get to play my senior year. I really, like, it has burned me up. Because when we talk about, you know, like, I care about Baltimore basketball and the tradition, I didn't get the chance to put my senior year on the city. You know what I mean? Like to see what I could have done because I did well as a junior, but 3 of the 5 starters were seniors. I felt like I was going to do it. I was going to be one of the top guys up there. So I learned another lesson that failed off the team. Wound up going to I went to New York. I had a brother up there that I had a relationship with him, but not really. And he was one of my father's children.
Where was you mentally before you got to New York, right?
Oh, man.
And yeah, tell the people where you was at mentally.
I was at a real rough spot. I remember the last day I was at Poly. You know, I remember it was not a good day. Like I was just in a tough space. This is my dream. Like playing, like to me, it was just as big a deal to play my senior year at Poly as if I was like about to play in the NCAA tournament or the ACC. You know, like this was, you know, this is my time. This is my chance to like really make my impact, to be like, you know, be able to. I want to be able to sit down here, you know, 20 years later, talk about, you know, what my senior year was like. But you know, like everything that happens like that becomes a blessing in your life. But at the time, I was mentally, I was out. It was rough. It was a rough time.
Now, you said you and your brother at the time didn't have a relationship like this.
No.
Now, was you thinking college basketball at this time?
Yes, for sure. I knew I wanted to play. It still wasn't like no college coach talked to me after my junior year. Like I said, I didn't play AAU, so like I was being recruited. So I knew that I wanted to play, but I didn't know what it meant to be a Division I player necessarily. Like who was a D1 and versus who was D2. I don't know that. Like I just love to play. So he was a teacher up there and at a high school where they had different eligibility standards. So I had 7. So, you know, one of the Poly things is everybody else in the city was taking 5 classes. And if you failed, was it 3? It might have been if you failed 3, you was ineligible, right? So like you can pass 2.
I think it changed it like that, and then it was like, I think.
You know what? It changed it from 3 to 2.
Then it like 60s.
And then it was exactly. So at Poly, it was 70s and you could only fail 1.
Okay.
We had a different policy. So, you know, I mean, it just didn't, I failed. I remember I failed SAT prep and the teacher had told me I was going to pass like the week before. I remember I almost did some real stupid stuff after that happened. But, you know, there was just
hold up, y'all. Let me make this disclaimer real fast. He failed off of Poly.
Yes.
It's different from failing off of Lake Clifton and Douglas Team. Do you hear me? So when y'all come to me talking about I failed off of anybody other than Poly, I'm not trying to hit. I'm not trying to city. That church on the hill. But hey, other than that, no. You stupid. All right, go ahead.
Well, I felt stupid at the time for doing it because I had the capability to do it the right way, but it was more of, you know, just kind of having freedoms that I wasn't used to or wasn't ready for. And anyway, it turned out to be a good thing. So I went up to New York. I wound up playing the second half of the season. Was at a school that had never been to the state sectionals. Led the team in scoring, took us there. We went to the county center in New York. I had all these articles written, but it was like, for me, it was hard because I didn't even care. I wanted them articles to be written in the Baltimore Sun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know nobody up here. But what was cool about it,
I know it felt good
to be able to play. Oh, I loved it. It was cool. And then like I also had experience we had, because it was a town, not a city. So when we went when we won the section, like they was treating me real, like it was fun. It was fun. You know, we went to the section, thousands, like the whole town came out with buses and parades and stuff like that. So it was cool to have an experience there's nothing like what I think happens in Baltimore basketball, but it was cool. It's just a different type of high school basketball. So it was cool. But what I did get there is I got recruited to play prep. Okay. So that's when I went to New Hampton, and the year I saw you guys, the year I saw Reggie, you know, and then also another level.
Now, for the people that don't know, New Hampton in the New Hampshire League, right?
Then
New England
League. Yeah,
New England League.
Yeah, Class A. It was, Maine Central, St. Thomas More, Karan Butler was up there at the time, Lamar Johnson, Zeke was playing with Karan Butler up there. So you had a couple Baltimore guys up there. I think KB went to MCI.
Yeah. Jamal went there.
Jamal. Sam Cassell. I mean, so yeah, the New England Prep League was thick. We had 12 Division I players that signed on my team.
Did Snake go there?
Snake did too. Yeah, he told me that. I didn't even know that. Snake told me that earlier this summer. I didn't even know. But Snake was up there as well.
Yeah. So we're just giving y'all a little. Now that's a Division I. That's a Division I league.
Absolutely.
Like
my team there was better than any team I played on in Morgan. Not even close.
Yeah, that's prep.
We would have beat the crap out of Morgan every team I played. Yeah. No question. So, but the experience up there, because I know we got to talk about the poly basketball coaching, but it was. I appreciate getting to talk about it all because it all led to it. You know, we had our starting lineup. So I go up there now. I had taken the team. In New York, I'm feeling myself again, feel good going in, and there's 13 Division I players on this in here. We playing pickup. I feel good in pickup, but I had never played organized. They had a real system they ran. We didn't run plays nowhere I'd ever been.
Yeah.
So in New Hampton, if you know up there, like the league, they're like that's who they are in the league. They run plays, they run systems and sets. So I remember I was doing good in the pickup. I never lifted weights before. We started lifting weights. I'm getting sore. My body's changing. We running this new offense, and I struggled early. I was on the end of the bench. I literally remember being in those dorm rooms, like we in the middle of the mountains in New Hampshire. The only people on the campus that we talking to each other. It's just the team. You know, we developed real strong relationships. But so we had a guy named Bernard Robinson who played in the NBA from DC. That was my guy up there.
Now, Bernard, we contacted each other about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Come on. Come on now.
Yeah, I would love to see him on.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, he came down, side note, I remember when he came down to Baltimore at Coppin. Oh my goodness. That's how I knew when I played with him up there, I'd already seen him, but I'm like, this is
jab step.
Oh, lefty smooth. I mean, yeah, Bernard was the real deal. He was the first person I played against. Like I said, I played against, you know, a lot of big time guys. He was the first person I played against on a day-to-day basis that frustrated me to the point where it tested how much I felt like I can't say it, but I felt that I couldn't beat him.
Okay.
I felt that like this dude's just that much better than me.
Nice.
Like it was hard. It was hard to deal with because none of the other dudes up there I'll talk all kind of shit. I'm not talking shit to Bernard too, but it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like he was that good.
Yeah.
But I experienced that up there early in the season. Didn't play. Worked my butt off. At the end of the year, I'm starting on New Hampton. I mean, I went from 12 man to starting, which is why as a coach, when you're the 12 man on my bench, I ain't trying to hit.
Right.
I've been there.
Right.
And I earned my way to the starting line.
Right.
You can do it too.
You hear?
You can do it too.
Do you hear parents?
I mean, it's the truth. It's on you. And so, you know, I remember like, all right, first I took the backup 2-guard spot. He wound up going. He went to Army. But he was a chump. I know it. Every day in practice, I'm like, I'm going to bust his ass. And then the starting 2-guard, he wound up being an all-time league scorer at Lafayette. And he could play. But I remember I was working. They gave me the start in our tournament up there. I wound up finishing the year. Point guard went to North Carolina. 2-guard was me, went to UMBC. Really played in Morgan, though. That was, you know, my school. 3 was Bernard, went to Michigan. 4 is my guy, Mike Roberts, who's coaching at Indiana now. Who played in Indiana, and the 5 was Gabe. I forget Gabe's last name, but he went to Cal. Right. So it's 4 high majors and me.
Right.
So I felt real good about my experience there. Once again, starting like it's how poly. When we started, you know, in the bottom and the back, and at the end, I was a starter and felt real good about it.
Now, a funny thing, side note, that I had an application to go to New Hampshire that year.
Oh man,
I did. But it was what happened? I think what happened? Wichita. I started talking to Wichita or something because New Hampshire posted. I think it was.
I didn't even miss it, and it was tough.
Yeah, but I feel that fell through. That fell through. But that's neither here nor there.
I want to say this too. I remember seeing you and Tay in Philly that year. I mean, you know, I don't remember where the tournament was. Y'all was from Philly. The tournament was somewhere.
Oh, we was the national championship.
It was before the national championship. We seen y'all. I remember y'all had wound up winning the national championship, but we played in the New England Prep Championships late. We had played in some tournament together. I don't remember where it was. I remember seeing you and Tay. But I say that to say I remember in that game, it was earlier in the season. That's how I know it was early because I wasn't playing a lot. And I remember like, yo, these are my guys. And Pooh and them was there too. Pooh and them was at the tournament too. So some tournament y'all was at, Pooh and them was at, and we were at. So anyway, I remember seeing y'all and Pooh and thinking like, this ain't how I want to represent Baltimore. I'm on the fucking bench. Like, this not how, we don't come from there and go and not represent. I got to get, it was part of my motivation to get on the floor. I swear, I remember seeing y'all like, yo, I got to work this. I got to get on the floor. Yeah. Like, so, and I did. So yeah, so I wound up, I didn't play till the end of the year. I had like 4 or 5 Division II scholarships up in New England. And I started with 4 high majors. And at that point, I did understand more about levels. I thought, I'm playing this one basketball. Okay, what I got. Like, I'll go figure out how to get in school somewhere. So they sent my tape to UMBC. I walked on at UMBC. Didn't get any playing time as a freshman early. Had a practice where we were out of town at a practice, and if anybody played in UMBC, they know the story. We had a practice out of town. We were doing a scout scrimmage. We played the next day. We kept scoring the scout scrimmage. So I remember I had like 25. I started talking shit to the starter and then to the coach. So I'm like, yo, I'm 25 and I don't even see the floor. Like, so we wound up getting into it, put me off the team. At that moment, I took my jersey off. We in New England, took my jersey, took my shorts off. Like,
Baltimore came out your day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in my drawers. We in like snow weather. Walked out the door, walked to the bus. I'm like, I ain't never put none of that UMBC stuff back on. So it was crazy.
Wow.
It was a crazy. So like, you know, I'm saying all this to say, you know, I like telling the story of failing at Poly, not starting at New Hampton, of failing at UMBC. Because, you know, each failure, you pick yourself up and you get better from it.
And see, that's what I wanted to say. Do y'all see that? Every time an obstacle, just for the kids that's watching, every time an obstacle jumped in the way.
I'm sorry for cussing for the kids. This is my guy Taz and talking to him.
Yeah, this had CV too. So yeah, y'all listen to all type of stuff. But y'all know what we saying. You fall, you get back up, man. That's it all. Absolutely. Don't let it get to your head and you start going further and further out. But go ahead. Let's now hold up. How you end up at Morgan?
So when I get put off the team at UMBC, I leave the school. I'm not even in school. And I so moved back, staying in East and South Baltimore, not going to school. I don't remember with who. I think it might have been. I don't know who it was with, but I played in a game at the YMCA up at Towson. They were having a unlimited league. I'm probably like 19 at the time. And I had like 40 in the game. And so I'm leaving, and dude pulled me up. And one of the guys on the other team was an assistant coach at Morton, Speedy Pennant. So Speedy, like, do you have any eligibility left? I said, I think I have all 4, but I didn't realize I'd only played in like 5 games at UMBC.
You still had your 4.
But I only had 3. So he had told me, we wanted to find out I only had 3. I tried to get my 4th later, but it just didn't happen. So anyway, I had 3 left. He said, you come to Morgan and walk on, and you can get a scholarship just for being white. So I was like, what?
Yeah,
you know, so a minority. So I got a minority scholarship in Morgan, sat out my first year, and for real, as soon as I got to Morgan's campus, I knew it was on. I felt it. Like, this is home. Like, I feel like this is my senior year of Poly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that went to Poly I see up there, a lot of people from Baltimore, and I worked out. I remember the first day,
you got a chance to come back home.
Got a chance to come back home and play, exactly. Because UMBC is the county. And you know, there's a difference between the county and the city. This is home.
Yeah.
So I get to Morgan. They don't invite me to the team workouts. So I'm not invited to the team workouts. So I wound up knowing somebody that had an intramural team. My man Marcel was telling them, Marcel Humphrey, I don't know if you know about him.
Listen, Marcel, we talk.
So that's my guy. So Marcel, my guy, he like, yo, I need you playing in the Merles. Yo, they don't even know who you are up here. So
always on something.
That's my guy.
Hold up.
Love it.
This is the guy that got his own stuff into Nike camp.
Yep. Yep, he was at TC.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, I'm sure there's some funny memories about that. But so anyway, he get me on the team, and I had and we played against a team that had 3 dudes that used to play on like Morgan intramurals. Like if people don't know, like intramurals it's 1,000 people in the game. People standing on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So like it was thick as I don't know it, but like I said, like I'm like, oh yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
So I had like 50. Like I went, oh, it's even still some footage. I don't even have no footage of me playing for Morgan, but there's some footage on YouTube of that game, and the whole gym going nuts. It say Sam Brand versus Up and Up. So Up and Up was I think DC clothing lines, a bunch of DC dudes on the team. Like they could go. You'll see in there, like they dunking. It's like it was high level. So anyway, playing that game, and it got all over campus. It was a white boy, and Morgan in the middle just had fit. Yeah. So it got all over campus. Yo, the coaches come looking for me, come get me out of class. I told you, so you invite me up there, and then didn't invite me to wouldn't let me come to the workouts, and then he come look for me, get me out of class. I wound up start working out with the team. I play against them guys. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew it. I knew I was, I was good enough to play in Morgan.
You know what I'm thinking? This is what happened. He told you to come up there for a scholarship. The whole time he's still trying to talk to the head coach and talk to you to come on the team.
There you go.
Head coach wasn't really going for it. You killed in the mirrors. He told you, I told you, coach. Go ahead, tell him, go get him that.
That's exactly what happened.
Go ahead.
That's exactly what happened. So then I remember having my first workout with the team. And like at this point, I had went through like before I came to Morgan, I was out of school. I was not. I mean, I knew eventually I was gonna play. I wasn't gonna let it go by and not play. I was thinking like, should I go to like community college? I talked to Luke Alessio and Bowie about possibly going out there, but I was out of school. So when I got with this team, and then they didn't let me in, like my focus. And that's when like I really developed like discipline and routine and started like making 500 shots a day and that kind of stuff. Cause I'm like, I came close, it got taken away. And so like now I'm at Morgan, like, it's on. Like I knew. So the first workout, I remember doing my thing. I remember everybody like, all right, we get it, we can play. Like it's real. So, went on to have just a great experience there, man. I love my experience in Morgan. So I went from a walk-on in my senior year. I finished the all-time leading three-point shooter in every statistical category, single game, season, percentage, free throw all-time, free throw percentage. Like I was all conference. And for real, Taz, to this day, like that my dream was all met. I want to be all met my senior year, but being all conference, a Division I all conference player, when many people told me I wouldn't play Division I basketball,
that was big.
That's my claim to success as a player.
That's still big as an accomplishment. Everybody don't get to do that. Everybody don't get to play Division I basketball.
Right. So when we talk about high school success, I feel a little like because I could talk about what I did in New York. Nobody here knows about it. So I felt the void, and I filled that void in college and more. So I couldn't talk some of the trash that some of my guys could about all Met, but my college career I'm real proud of.
But you still talk.
No, I appreciate it.
But see, since we taking it there,
okay.
I mean, since we taking it there, since you had a little void as far as playing, now you that big dog coach. You know what I'm saying? Now you got programs hunting for y'all now. It ain't the same pilot. No, this ain't the same pilot. No, not at all. Y'all nationally ranked. It's only you and St. Francis, only pilot and St. Francis rocking and rolling. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, full pride all the way. No doubt. I believe in Holy Ghost. But with y'all, how y'all spank my team, that's not cool. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to cut it out.
It doesn't even feel. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't feel right. Like Diego was when he was coaching. First of all, he was kicking our butt in the beginning. But we always had, we had some real thick games. I wish, a whole nother side. No, I thought Keith Boo was gonna be able to do something down there, man. I really did. I thought the energy he had in the gym. I mean, it's year one, and they were struggling. So like, you're not gonna be able to do so much. I do believe he was gonna be able to turn some things around and get some of the Dunbar tradition back going. I feel bad that situation happened with him, man.
Listen, I don't know Keith, but I felt the same way you felt. I said, you know what, he got too much going for him. That he know what it takes. He know what it takes for this program where he want to go. But one thing about our program is it's the most political job. It's the most political job.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Y'all alumni ain't playing, man. Yes, y'all alumni ain't playing. Really, the standard that's been set down there, is national. If you're not nationally competitive, you ain't done ball basketball.
But that's unrealistic.
It is. It feels that way, especially as a Baltimore City public school program.
Yeah.
You know what, though, Taz? They told me it was unrealistic. They probably get where it is. They did. I heard that many, many times. You know, good thing about in the beginning, we were in existence 125 years and had never been to the city championship.
But you know what, though? The difference is you got a whole different swag with you, right? You and your team. Not only you got a good team. You got a good coaching staff core with you, right? I mean, everything got to go with the time, and not only that, the school academic-wise can take care of itself.
Absolutely.
So if you want your kid to go there, they're gonna get a good education.
Yeah.
They're gonna get eligible for college.
Yeah.
So why not?
That was the pitch. So like when we first got it, so the first thing
I shouldn't even said that on live shit.
Was that
the truth? I said the truth. But go there.
No, you're right. So we saw that before, but it was like, well, how, with zero tradition, you know, how do we create a culture and a program that, you know, basketball wise, you know, people want to go to. I remember the first time a coach from McDonough was like, had like almost like pulled me up, and he was like, yeah, it was crazy. I'm like having a recruiting conversation with a kid, and he actually mentioned Pollard. And this was like my second or third year. I'm like, you don't know how I just took that. You think I thought that was a compliment? Like, we're gonna be smashing y'all in a few years.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I put that, you know, I put it in here. But you know, we just didn't have the tradition. So nobody, like, you're right. I saw the potential. So my first challenge was, all right, how do I go get a staff of people that understand what it would take at Pollard, and it would be committed to it. So absolutely, first and foremost, Anthony Fitzgerald, you know, big time poly player, legendary college career.
Big Fitz.
You know,
shout out to Fitz.
And my guy, like really from day one, man, been rocking with me, man. And you know, so getting him was super important. He had some experience coaching in the program. He had told me like, yo, this dude don't know what he's doing. This is, you know, like we're never gonna win. But you know, when I sat down with him.
This Fitz, y'all.
Yeah, Big Fitz.
That's Big Fitz right there, y'all.
Yes, sir. My guy. Hey, there you go. So, so I sat down with him. Jared Ingram, who's an athletic director now at New Era in South Baltimore, doing big things. Tion Crudup, who's a poly guy, Cecil guy, big part of us starting the program. He was also the part of the JV staff at Poly. So I wanted to have some people that kind of knew what was going on already. And then Jarrell Green, who played for me at Morgan, Baltimore guy. I knew Jarrell had a basketball mind. And so we put together what I thought was like a monster staff to start off, because it was big. Like a big part of, like, you know, what I wanted to do and what we've done now is I'm the head coach and I appreciate being able to do that, but I want to empower people to do what they do. If we have an issue with one of our bigs, I'm not about to go help him. That's fixed. He's a better way. He knows more about that than I do, and I want him to do that. Now we got LT, Larry Tucker. You know, we got Kyle Jacob. We got so it started off with a group of guys that all were committed to it, doing their own thing. And my job, other than, you know, the basketball side, really the first thing I had to do was make sure. And people don't, you know, I'm happy to talk about stuff like this because people think they know how we built it, but they don't. The absolute first step was I had to figure out how to support the kids in the school that hoop academically in a way that they weren't going to fail out. Okay. And I'm a math teacher there, so I got hired as a math teacher. I can't be phony about my commitment to academics. If I come in here and I remember that as a player, remember how I left by failure. Yeah. So I'm coming back. Some of the teachers that taught me being a fool in high school is now my coworkers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like I have to show I did not come here from playing college ball and coaching college ball. So you know, I didn't even skip over that. But I coached at Morgan for 4 years, and went to the NCAA tournament as a coach, started a community-based camp.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't even get on how you, what made you go into coaching? Like, or was just
so after my senior year, so I like I said, my father was a teacher, so I got my degree in math, and I was going to get a master's in education. So I knew that there was a possibility of me teaching. I wanted to play pro. You know, I wanted to play professionally. I actually spent the summer after my senior year in California training to play professionally. And, you know, I talked to some agents, was, you know, hoping to do that. You know, if I ever got a chance to do it, I wouldn't have been, it was a blessing. At the end of the summer, I tore my knee, everything in my knee, just tore it up. And so I knew at that point, like, you know, I saw a doctor about it. I had already had a knee surgery going into my senior year. And they basically said it'll take over a year to recover from. It's gonna be a real tough surgery. And they also said that, so I didn't, it was like, there was some ligament damage, but it was some tissue, some cartilage in there that they basically, I've never even heard of the injury that I had with kids that I've coached. Like, but anyway, the doctor told me that, you know, if you don't get the surgery, that over time, it could kind of work itself out. You know, maybe like, you know, but it'll take a couple years. It might have to be physical therapy. And at that point, I'm like, I can get a surgery, take a year to recover from, and then try to be a pro again. Or I can try some more time. I didn't want to get surgery. I had like bad experience getting the first surgery, so I wound up not doing it. It's all right, well, I'm not gonna be a pro. So let me get started coaching early. So went to the coach. They had just hired Todd Bozeman with Coach Jason Cal, and this was his first job after that. And I asked about being a graduate assistant, and was a graduate assistant for a year. Had a bunch of Baltimore guys come in. I learned how to build a program in that way. We finished third in the MEAC my senior year. I felt like I was all conference. I felt good about it, but I didn't feel that I was a part of a championship program. I had never up to that point like felt like what a championship program was like and what it meant to build one. And I never even had a coach. I might have had like a captain mentality. It was different being a coach. So I now got to coach under a guy that knew what he was doing. So I learned a lot from Bose. You know, the way he recruited, the way he got guys in there, the way he ran practice, how everything was organized, how he literally just got tasks done. He got things done. He made sure there was no excuses for not getting stuff done among the staff, among the players, systems of accountability.
And that's big.
Yeah. So I learned about that. And then when I had the opportunity to go to Poly, it was like, all right, at Morgan, so Morgan had never won. We went to the NCAA tournament. So they went 3-26 the year before I played there. We won 8 games, 12 games, and 16. My sophomore, junior, senior. So I felt like I was a part of helping. Didn't play for a year. And so the next year is when Bowles came in, and he completely turned around to go to the NCAA tournament. And at that point, when job opening for math and basketball came to Poly, I'm like, you know, this is a chance to do this again, to like take something from the ground. No, because Poly had won like 3 games.
This like your baby. This will be your
baby.
baby.
This will be mine.
Yeah.
You know, where I watched a man come develop the Morgan program, which was great. I learned a lot. I can do this with my people, with my friends, with my guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the opportunity came. I jumped on it. Got that staff together. You know, started coaching AAU as well with Bub and Baltimore Elite. Our staff started being committed. You know, and then just like, I knew that the guys felt, it felt right, man. Even in practice, now it was challenging that first year. We lost to Southside Academy. We played City that first year with Nick Faust, Big Charles Tapper. We had Poly. I put my suit on, my first time putting a full suit on. Taz is 27-0, like 5 minutes into the game. 27-0. So, but I knew it was a part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. Like, I'm sweating in there. We had the band, the cheerleaders. I set up, like, we brought a DJ because I wanted to set up. This is what our game's going to look like when you get there.
Okay.
Because it had never happened. So I remember that game because it was, it was a real kick in the rear. But I also remember, like, this is what it's going to look in here. This is what I want the atmosphere to be. I just told them I had a better team.
Yeah.
So we went through that or whatever. Wound up getting a kid, John Crosby, to come in. Who was a point guard. Wound up going to Dayton. Just finished the Delaware State recently. And Chaz Brown, who played at Duquesne. So we had 2 guys come in year 2. Kind of built around them. There was a kid on our JV, Darian Stokes-Graham, who wound up being our first All-Metro player. Came up through the program. And then in year 1, we just got our butt kicked everywhere. We beat Douglas that year, who was at the, they were good. I think they were like maybe number 15 as our first ranked team we had beat. But then year 2, we got these guys come in and we started to really generate buzz. I remember we weren't ranked. We wound up playing Emerson, Dansler, my guy. And while I was coaching in Morgan, I remember watching him win the city championship with Emerson, with Stanton, Kid Pee Wee, Kayvon Pyatt, and it was inspirational to me. I tell them all the time, like, me coaching high school basketball has a lot to do with me watching what Dansler did in the Emerson community with those guys. You know, you could just tell, like, that was it was real. Like it was legendary to me.
My son played over there.
I know.
Shout out to Dansler.
Yes, sir. So shout out to Lil Taz. Yeah. So we beat them. Still not ranked. That was our second ranked win, and then we got killed coming to Pop. So this was the entire second year to me, was those 2 games. So Kill comes to Poly, they number 1. We unranked, and I just remember, I remember the whole day, Taz. Like, this gonna be the day. This gonna be the day, yo. I knew it. I just knew it. I'm in the hallways with my shirt and towel, like, yo, we ready to fuck Patterson up today. I'm telling everybody, I'm getting the school hype. You know, I got the. Obviously, I'm gonna talk like that to our regular students, but I'm telling our players this. So the game winds up coming, and we beat him in double overtime. Kill had 45. Beat him at the buzzer in double overtime. I run on the floor, slip. I had some slippery arrows on, slip, bust my tail, fall on my back. Oh, it was pandemonium. It was crazy.
That was pumped. It sounded like you were charged up.
Oh, super charged. The whole gym was. Like, so the thing is, we have no history of this at Poly in basketball. You know what I mean? Like, so like the whole goal is like, we went through this hard year, and at this time, Ted, like when I tell you that I was working hard, like I was getting to Poly at about 5:30. This was before I had kids, before I was married. Getting to Poly 5:30 in the morning. I'm leaving 8:30 p.m. Like most days. You know, we doing weights in the morning with kids. I know I ain't playing college basketball. I don't care. We gonna work. We're gonna establish this culture of work here. So we do weights in the morning. We got kids like, I gotta get to Poly at 5:36. I'm like, yes, this is how we're gonna do it. Yeah. So I'm working, we working. And then, we get some other guys in. I'm picking up John Crosby, most mornings, getting out early, picking him up, bringing him to the gym, we working. And so this was like our first thing, like, yo, this is gonna work. We really wanna do this. Because I had the belief, you can believe all you want till you start to see it. It doesn't become real to you. So it became real that day. Continued to grow. It became wound up losing first round of state playoffs at the beating Patterson because we weren't really there. We had just played out our minds that game. We had some good players, but the next year was our first regional championship. Went to Comcast, big deal. We going to Comcast, some Poly had never done on the boys' side. Our girls coach, she is the truth. Championship at the championship. But, like I said, our basketball program for boys was non-existent as far as our success. So won our first region, which was our goal when we sat down, as I was talking about in Morgan, is let's first, because the city championship, I thought, I knew it would be harder than getting like a regional one. So I'm like, let's do a region. Then we go establish we can win a city championship. Then we go win state. Then we will get nationally ranked. Then we're going to win a national championship. This was the meeting we had. Yeah. And, if you're outside that meeting, hearing somebody say that about Poly basketball, you think, that's crazy, right? And we just beat the defending national championship this year. So we in stage 4 now, but back then, so we got our first region. 2 years later,
we coming up. Don't worry about it, y'all. We'll get there.
So we won our first region with John Crosby and Darian Stokes-Graham is our two best players. You know, was just a great experience. You know, we traveled on the road. We wound up going, so we won the regional championship at Paint Branch High School. They had like, you know, it was sold out hours before the game. You know, the crowd was crazy. It was you know, it was just an experience. Like, you know, we're becoming a legitimate basketball program.
Yeah.
You know?
So feel like you in the like y'all rock star every school you go to.
Yeah, we weren't rock star yet, but we were like in the conversation. At first, we just had to get in the conversation. We had to, like, poly and basketball was not part of the same. You talk Baltimore basketball, you're not talking about poly.
Right.
You know, so I felt like, all right, you know, we might start to get in these conversations about, you know, who the better teams are. So,
hold up.
Yep.
Now, all right, y'all had Paint Bridge. Y'all get your first region.
Won the first region.
What did that do for us as recruiting? Did it jump up in the spike, or was it? Because now you're in the conversation.
It's a great question, and it's interesting because immediately it was like, oh, everybody want to come, but nobody could get in. You know, so we win. And Justin Jennifer about to come up, play with John. Had the twins that wound up getting in city. Now, yes, they did get in city, and they did not get in poly. We're supposed to have the same standards. A whole nother topic. Jordan McNeil wound up playing at Towson. We had all these guys. Nobody could get in. So at this point, we almost like, I had to convince our staff, like, it's still gonna happen. We just had to. We gotta figure it out. We gotta continue to work. And, you know, at this point, we had started to academically become in a different place. So, like, when I first got there, our team GPA was a 1.3. So now we over a 2.0 finally. We didn't have anybody fail off the team. So, you know, it was, you know, it's getting better, but it was, you know, still a long ways to go. We talking about winning a national championship, winning the region, and then going down and losing to Magruder in the Final Four. We're obviously not there yet, right? So we had a long ways. We proud of where we came, long ways to go. Big part of it, we realized, okay, it's really going to be difficult to get kids in, and we got to, you know, continue to support our guys academically, and we got to figure out a way to get the right kids to get them in. So the following year, so after we won, we had like, not a damn, so the following year, we 5 games in, we undefeated. We beat everybody by 30.
Whoa.
And we go down St. Francis. We're 5-0. We're probably like the number 6 team in the area. Go down St. Francis. They had Dwayne Morgan, who was an All-American. They're number 1. And John hits a shot at the bus.
KG one.
Yes.
The big ticket.
Big ticket.
Yeah, the big ticket.
So he's down, yeah. So he's down there. And John was our only like heralded player that people knew about. That, I mean, Brandon and Lindsay, whose little brother is on our team now, had an unbelievable game. He wound up having a great Division III career, but like as far as like who people knew, John was our only guy on that team. And he had a shot at the buzzer to beat him. And it was another one of those feelings of it. So this time, I remember people asking, why you scheduling Mount St. Joe? Why you scheduling St. Francis? I ain't never gonna beat them. You know what I mean? I ain't never gonna beat a team like that.
Yeah.
And when we beat them, now it's like, all right, that was a new place for us to go. Like, you know, we beating the top private schools in there, because this is also one of the stigmas is like people think, and you know, that's why I'm so happy we got, you know, guys like Coach Ty Douglas and, you know, guys putting into public schools in the city. What we don't need, now I'm not saying that we don't need private school, but we don't need young people thinking that the only way that you're going to be able to have a successful baskewall journey and student athlete experience is you got to go pay for it in private school.
Right. So my fault will cut you off.
No, please.
Because now that you're saying that it's private school, we sit up here, we ain't hating on the private school. That's not what we doing. However, there's another side to those private schools too. A lot of those kids go there for a year, gotta leave, still got a bill, the parents still got a bill to pay, and then you scrambling in the summertime looking for a place to go. Or you still don't got your transcript, they're not trying to release it because you got a bill to pay. But that's neither here nor there. That's another story in itself. But TV gonna get to that. That's neither here nor there.
Well, invite me on because I'm for that one because I got a lot to say about the private public thing. I mean the thing that I love, and I'll leave it at this when it comes to it about Poly. I think a lot of times when some of the private schools take kids out of Baltimore and like give them a private school opportunity, but they look at the kid as an outsider, like we doing you a favor letting you go to school with us, right? And that ain't how you want your experience to be. Like whereas at Poly, we all here together. We all, this is all, in fact, nobody really cared that you hoop like that, especially back then, and the teachers aren't going to care at all. They're not going to treat you different because of it. So you have a real, authentic experience socially, and and I appreciate that about what public school can bring. You're not taking somebody to put them somewhere else and then having outside stuff happen. We all in this together.
Right.
So no more about that. I won't talk no bad talk about private.
Yeah, we can go there. We're moving on. We're moving on. Now let's speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's speed it up because, like I said, y'all went from not being mentioned to people, your name in the conversation. Then now your name is being considered. You competition to other schools now on a whole nother level. And now y'all is that team. Y'all is that team now. Teams hunting y'all. Like how did that feel? Like, can you tell the people your accomplishments, the championships, the rankings that you and your team and took part in?
So the team that really started it when it came to state championship level basketball was a team that had big kid Jordan Jones, who's at Marist now. Christian Chonqui was our point guard. We had Demetrius Mims, Devondre Perry, and the kid Torrance Stevens. That was our starting five on that team. And we went undefeated in the city. We got our first #1 ranking, and this was Dre's junior year. Jordan senior got our first #1 ranking, but we had a really tough schedule. So the whole time, one of our philosophies, we play the best. And we don't care if we got like a bad state season. We won't play all the top privates. We won't play out of town. And at first people were looking at me crazy. And now people understand, like, if you really want to be that level, you got to play. So anyway, those guys had this great season. We went to Ohio that year. It was first year really traveling. We come back and we get upset by Woodlawn in the state playoffs. And I mean, heartbroken. Dre break his hand in the locker room. Everybody crying. We thought this was going to be our state championship year. But that moment, like, once again, it's part of the story for me, is like, it's always starts. The success starts with the failure. So, but I looked in Dre's eyes and I knew it, like, oh, next year, his senior year is over. And I mean, this dude had the best state playoff run I've ever seen.
Really?
He averaged 29, 14, and 7. And now those are real statistics. He had down at the state Final Four. He was overall, he was 8 for 10 from 3 in the 2 games. And this dude is he in transition. He's about to be a senior at Temple this year. He put us on his back. I mean, we had other guys. Torrance Stevens had a big game that game. Demetrius had a big game that game. He was at Towson now. But Dre, that first state championship run, that's a picture right there in the middle from it. I mean, pure joy, man. We had Ra just came in as a freshman, who, brought all kind of new toughness and leadership. And then we had a senior put us on his back. And then year 2, the second state championship run, now Dre left. So we had a dude put us on his back, 30 games, state playoffs, all this. Now we have Justin Lewis coming and Amani Walker. So we had a couple guys come in after that run. And year 2 now is so in high school basketball, it's really, there's other guys, but the seniors are who get it done. So year 2 is Demetrius's, it's Demetrius, Seth, and Cleve were our big seniors that year. We were in year 2, Second state championship, we're down 9 with 1:30 left on the road, regional championship, come back and win it. The senior scored 11 points in the last minute and a half. Come back and win. Win at the buzzer in the state championship game. Those guys year 2. Year 3, and then so after year 2, it's like, all right, we won 2 state championships in a row. Now we want to be nationally ranked. We can do this. We can get the nationally ranked. So we got real close. We played Simeon, who was number 8 in the country at the time.
And then out of Chicago.
Out of Chicago. Brought him into Baltimore. DTLR, Jeff Bowden. Appreciate you bringing him into Baltimore. We up 9 in the 4th. Almost the opposite happened to us. They come back and beat us.
Shout out to Jeff, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Jeff.
Absolutely. So we got real close that year, but we did win the state championship. Won city and state that year. And then that was our first year doing that. That was a big deal to us.
Good too.
Most definitely. And then, so then it was this year, which would have been our 4th state championship. We made it to the Final 4. But what we did do this year, we played in the Beach Ball Classic down in South Carolina. Did a lot of good work down there. Went 3-1. Shouldn't have lost the one we did. And started getting calls like, yo, you guys are right on the verge of being nationally ranked. Like, right there. Keep working. So played St. Francis. Became a rival. We got our name moved up with us.
That's the rival now.
It's so funny. I'm telling you,
the talk of the town.
Everybody used to say, I remember, like, why you schedule St. Francis? Y'all gonna get embarrassed. And now we're 4-4 in 8 games against them. So we talk about that. That's a real rival. That's a real rival. It's going now. It's and I appreciate Nick. He's not far from my area. He's a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Nick.
So like. Me and Nick talk about it a lot. Like, we hate each other that day, but it's real. It feels good to be for Baltimore basketball, having this rivalry, and like really wanting to work together. So, having, that next step to become a nationally ranked team and seeing them do it at the same time. I don't think we should have lost them this year when we did. But I really enjoy watching them grow as a program. I love a bunch of the guys. This is a small community of coaches and kids. I know all those guys. I wish them all well. Watch them play in the summer, watch them play in college. So this year, we after we lose that game, it's like we got one more chance to be nationally ranked to end the season. This is Ra-Ra's senior year. This is Justin's senior year. This is Brandon Murray's senior year. This is Ian Wallace's senior year. This is Cy Lamar's senior year. Like, we got to do this. We got to. So this is now, and so. We talk. The reason why you want to keep playing at the top is because I like being an underdog. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
I always have been. It feels weird that people say, "Oh, Poly is this and that."
Yeah.
I'm an underdog. That's what I've always been. I went from not starting to starting. I went from walk on to all conference like that. We went from no program to this, and so like it's important to me to keep, testing those boundaries to play these kind of teams. And so the way that we even played them, so like. The way that we played IMG is, so we wanted to play them. We tried to get different people to bring us in. I was about to call out the sponsor that wouldn't do it, but I won't even do it. Try to get people to bring them into players. Didn't happen. Like, we got to make this happen. So we wound up partnering with somebody that could. We finally get the game, and the state tells us, no, we can't play them. They're an elite school. They do the international recruiting. Y'all can't play. So I talked to my guy, Nick Mosby, tell him the situation. This was after we got him to commit to coming, and took it to the state level, wound up getting us, approval to play him. So it was all this work. And I mean, that wasn't like, it sounds like an easy process, but it was hell. It was so much just to get him to come here to play us. So, and St. Francis playing Oak Hill, we playing IMG, this big Baltimore basketball event. Super happy about being involved. I'm just like happy the magnitude, looking around, seeing all the people.
Man, that was good for the city, man. Man, look, everything stopped.
Everything stopped.
Everything stopped.
It was nice.
Go ahead.
No. So it's great to be a part of it. And then we walk in the gym, and St. Francis is working Oak Hill. I mean, so it kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, I wanted them to win, but the blowout, I know IMG's like, that ain't happening to us. And I knew we won't blow IMG out.
Yeah.
So, they got 2 McDonald's All-Americans starting. They got 5 guys that are in the top 10 in their class. At this point, we ain't had none. We got a guy who wound up being ranked after that game, who was up and coming, going to be unbelievable. Kwame Evans Jr., Kwame's son.
Mm-hmm.
But for this game, he had a big time game in that game. But for this game,
shit.
oh yeah, he's legit.
He definitely might be in that. He definitely might make that game.
So that's one of our goals. We wanted him to be our first. I mean, we wanted to be Justin. We thought he had a chance, which he came close, but we feel like, and he gets it done off the court too. He's a 3-7 student at Poly. He's awesome. But going back to that game, the mentality going in, like, I talked about where we started. Like this game, more important than any state championship to me, because this is level 4 for us. Remember, I'm like, all right, it's be competitive, win a region, win a city, win a state, and then get nationally ranked. And that from state to nationally ranked is a big jump.
Yeah.
We talking about plenty of state champions don't even smell national rankings. So this is the game. So, leading up to the game, so they played 2 nights before us, and I knew I spent 50 hours watching film with them. I watched their 5 games they played before us multiple times. I knew everything they ran. I knew the tendencies of all the guys. Fitz is our guy as far as scouting. He does a great job of scouting people. But this particular game, I jumped on with them because I love doing it too. I do some of it, but like I said, I like having our guys.
That's so boring. So boring.
You know what? I learned to love it, Taz. I learned to love it because this is my impact. I can't hoop no more.
Yeah.
The only, if I know what they're going to run before they run it, I see a tendency that maybe don't get 1 bucket for this kid when he would have got it if I didn't tell his defender about it.
Yeah.
That's how I can impact the game. So I got to be real meticulous with it. So I felt in this game, I went into the game feeling like I've never been more prepared to coach a game. And I knew our guys, were prepared to play the game. We had the talent to do it. We had the heart to do it. We had the leadership. We had the seniors. We had the young guys. And it was a classic. Right, I hit the shot at the buzzer as he does, and it was like, so I don't know if you saw the clip. I wound up running the security guard over. You didn't see that? That's like 40,000 views. I'm gonna show it to you after this. But I wound up. So I remember. So we won. The instant we won, I felt like I had to run. Like I had to go somewhere. I didn't want to run in the middle of the court because I'm like, I don't want to make it look like it's about me. So I ran. I tried to run out the gym. So I run over to the door. Move the security guard out the way, knock him over, excuse me, run out in the hallway, ball up in a little corner, start crying like a baby. It felt like, like those mornings waking up to the late evenings and then the staff, the way it grew and the program. It's like, this is, we just beat them. I remember saying to myself, we just beat IG, Poly in basketball, just beat a $90,000 a year international sports academy that has, 5 top 10 players in their class.
Yeah.
That didn't just happen. That ain't just happen. So it was, that was a big time feeling. Kwame stepped up big time in that game. Justin was great in the game. Brandon, Rye had the game winner.
Man, hold up. Rye has 4 state championships.
He has 3.
3 state championships.
And then we won that game. We going into the state playoffs, and we about to mop everybody. So we went we get a blowout first round, play City in the second round, it's tied at halftime. We were crazy in the gym. We wound up winning by 30 plus. Guys put on the show in the third quarter. We wound up getting up I've never seen anything. We were tied at halftime, 4 minutes into the third quarter, we was up about 25. It was unbelievable the way we came out at halftime. People asked me what I talked to the guys about at halftime. It wasn't no crazy. I actually tried to calm everybody down because I knew he was panicking. We can't lose the city and 4 people running. That ain't happening. So I tried to calm everybody down. They want us to go crazy in here. We're better. It's going to show in the second half. Let's lock into our game plan. Let's get all the craziness. Took them out. And then the following round, played in the regional championship, won by 35. And we were playing the state Final Four. We were leaving the locker room to get on the bus. I had just heard the Big East tournament was canceled. I get a phone call from our AD, and he's like, the game postponed. Next day, he's like, I think it's going to be canceled for a while. And then so I'm talking to the guy. I mean, nobody even knows what's going on now. At that point, we ain't know nothing. So, it was really hard. So when you talk about Rah-Rah, he won 3. And, as a point guard, and especially, as one that, he was a great defender for us. He had capability of scoring, but he did sacrifice some of that to play with better guys and, you know, be a point guard and, you know, not in a way that I felt like he had to give up his game, but in a way that this is what it was to play on this level team.
Yeah.
And so I say that was his thing, though. His thing was he was going to be the first player to ever do this. I mean, that is a legend. I mean, he's still a Baltimore basketball legend, but I felt he was the particular person that Ian Wallace was on all 4 teams, but Robert was a starter on all 4 teams. And I felt awful that he didn't get a chance to get that 4th state because, I mean, no disrespect to the other teams in the Final Four, but we were a class above the public schools in the Final Four, in the 3A. We were very confident we would be able to get that done.
Y'all would have won, man. Y'all would have won. And shout out to Rod, man. Shout out
Howard. He just left for Howard. I saw it all over IG, like pictures of him just getting there. So I want to say he either got there yesterday or maybe the day before.
Okay.
Yep.
Look, before we get off here, I got a question. Do you think y'all gonna play this year? Do you think it's gonna be a season, high school season this year?
You know what? My answer to any question about this is if I tell you I know, I'm lying. So I don't know. What I'm hoping for is that as a country we get our stuff together and get past. You know, we can do what we got to do, get past it in 2020 for the rest of this year. We have a shortened season in the beginning of 21. That's what I'm hoping for. Hoping for maybe a 3-month season from January to March. DC has already said that that's their plan. I think it'll be a good idea for us to follow that. But I will say this, though, that, you know, but I'm grateful for where we've grown as a program, and we're going to support our guys whether we have a season or not. We're going to find ways to get film of them out to college coaches. We got an event we're doing now in a small group to get, you know, all the local guys exposure that are, you know, not getting a chance to get it during this time. We got to adapt, like everybody. You know, we have to adapt. So are we going to have it? Maybe, maybe not. But we all just gotta you know, stick together and figure it out day by day and, you know, adapt to whatever the situation is. So whether we have the season or not, I know our seniors are going to be fine. I know our guys are going to be fine, our program. You know, because right now, really the thoughts they're bigger than basketball. You know, like the thoughts I'm having with, you know, our guys and our team and how they handling things. We still working on basketball, but, you know, we just trying to make sure everybody's healthy. We trying to make sure everybody's safe. We're trying to make sure everybody, you know, is figuring out what they're doing, going into a new school year online again. So that's what most of the focus is. But, you know, as a program, you know, we're real proud of where we are, and we, you know, we're confident moving forward that we ain't going nowhere.
All right, listen, I promise you, last question, and it's not basketball.
Talk to it.
How is you holding up being a school teacher, teaching math online?
It's not easy. The hardest part in the beginning was the kids weren't showing up. So I'm in there doing live teaching. It's 2 kids online. You know what I mean? Like, so, and really a part of it was the way the grading system was. They basically told the kids, like, you don't have to show up. You just keep whatever grades you got. So, like, you know, poly students, a lot of them already had A's and B's. Like, well, all right, I'm done. So it was difficult for me, but I really, you know, it's about like moving forward, like how we gonna do it now. And so, you know, I've been trying some different things. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna teach math this year. I'm, you know, following guidance from the school system. I'm actually doing this online camp where we have math as a component. I'm doing the math part of the camp where we go live for like 15 minutes and do a challenge. So, you know what? I can't complain, man. For real, I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to be supporting kids where I'm at. So I'm just adjusting day by day, adapting. I ain't gonna complain about what the season is. I was messed up for Ra and our girls coach and like some of the other seniors when it happened. But I wasn't, you know, I feel like, you know, through the ups and downs we talked about here, you gotta keep steady, you know, keep going, keep pushing, and you know that's just what I'm trying to do. So math, basketball, family, all that, you know, just trying to take it day by day.
Man, again, I'd like to thank you for joining
I appreciate you having me. Let me say this too before I leave, that you and Dip bringing this energy to Baltimore basketball right now during this time. I know it's a lot of people that I'm speaking for saying we appreciate it, for real. Like being able to talk about the culture of basketball in our city, the different guys that came up in it and how they, you know, navigated through it, being from Baltimore and all the craziness that comes with that, and then being a part of this Baltimore basketball culture, and then how I brought them into the man that they have become, and then how the brotherhood that we all had together. Y'all represent that with Taz TV, so I appreciate that, man.
And we appreciate that too, man. Coming live for Taz TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Yes, it ain't gonna take y'all long at all. Subscribe, like, and share. I should have said it before at the beginning of the video, but I'm gonna say it one more time. Subscribe, like, and share. Over and out. Taz TV.